If you ever had this thought, had this feeling in your life that you are falling behind, I want to talk to you for a little bit. It was a few weeks ago, I saw this comment by a kid that was about 22 years old. He felt that he had failed in life. He was still living with his parents, that life wasn't going good for him, and that he just felt behind everyone else. At 22 years old, there is still so much ahead of you. And I don't know where we got this idea from that at 22 years old, you're supposed to have a home, you're supposed to have, very nice car, you're supposed to be perhaps married with kids by now. I don't know where we get this idea. Most kids are only finishing university at that age. I sort of see some of the eras that it comes from, and I see it all the time. Young men, driving very nice sports cars. You see online people talking about how much they made on cryptocurrency, all these sorts of things. And I think it's just created a social pressure that young men believe they're supposed to be a lot further ahead than they actually should be. In your early 20s, you're still figuring shit out. You really won't know what you want in life until you begin to get a better sense of who you are. And getting a better sense of who you are is a byproduct of experience. It's a byproduct of time. The person you are one day is just not the person that you are at another point. So I say all this to say that it takes time to learn yourself. It takes time to get a better idea of who you are, which is gonna open the door to having a better sense of what you want out of life, the type of lifestyle that you want. I believe that ultimately, we dress up these wants that we have, wealth symbols, these status symbols, fancy car, nice big home, dressing a certain way, the brands and such that we wear appearing a certain way. We have these ideas of things that we want. When you're young, you have those sense of those things seem important, but you live a little bit of life, you go through some ups and downs. And I think a lot of people not necessarily get humbled, but a lot of people reach the point in life where they just go through so much stress of trying to get this, trying to grind. And then you reach a point in your life where you're like, you know what, I just want peace. I just want peace in my life. I think that's the thing that most of us want. I think that's the thing that lies at the core of what we really want in life. Peace. The grind, the chase of frugal things, interests that change over time can just scatter that. But I think many of us reach a point in life that we realize that, the ultimate goal should be having peace. Now I get it. If you're a car guy, maybe peace is having a loaded garage, right? I don't want to say that everyone is, a monk or something out here, but what I'm saying is that most of us reach a point in our lives where peace becomes the major goal, right? Where these crazy things that we chase, they just have less meaning to us. As life goes on, the importance of things, they change. At a young age, we have these false perceptions of, I should be here, I should have this, because we comparing ourselves to what other people have. I've done it myself. I've done that myself. I can look back on my life and I can say that there are so many mistakes that I've made, financial blunders that I've made, setbacks, having my attention on things that it shouldn't have been on. And I can seriously say that, hey man, if you had to just kept your focus here, if you had to just kept your discipline here, if you had to just not gotten distracted, not chased this other thing, not tried to, turn $1 into $5 too quickly, I would be a lot further ahead than where I am now. This is something that's hit me also. I've compared myself to other people in my age group. It's something that we all do, but we have to realize we have to give ourselves some grace sometimes, guys. We have to give ourselves some grace. No matter what age you are, I said young men, but if you're in your 30s, 40s perhaps, whatever age you are, give yourself some grace. Don't beat yourself up about what you don't have relative to other people or, mistakes that you made, setbacks that you had. Every day is a new day. I think every day can be the start of a new chapter of our lives. And we only ever get boxed in if we let our mind get to that point where we're thinking we boxed in, that we're thinking we can't change, that we're set in this way that we can't change. No, you can always learn, right? I always say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think that's false in many ways. Now, in some ways it may be true, but I think in many ways the reason why you can't teach an old dog new tricks is because that old dog is a little stubborn. I'm stubborn myself in ways, but if you are really truly wanting to change your life, perhaps go after some of those things that you want, then today is the day to start that. Today is the day to start that. You don't have to look back on what time you've lost over the last 5, 10 years, like 5, 10, 15, 20 years perhaps. Start now. If you just think about it in two ways, the only choice we have is to either stay where we are now, accept it, and be like, you know, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to pursue what I want. I've lost too much time. Just going to give up. Let life just set my sail up and let life take me where it wants to take me. Or we have the choice of saying, you know what? Today's the day that I start. Today's the day I start over, that I learn something new. I get a little bit more, you know, focused in my life, and I'll begin to make those baby steps. And the thing is, nothing changes overnight. I go to the gym a lot. I beat myself up sometimes thinking that progress should come quicker than it does, but it doesn't. You know, you chip away at it day by day, week by week. Those weeks add up to be months. Those months add up to be years. And what I do, I look back on photos of myself a few years ago and I can see the progress. But it's hard to see the progress when you're in it. It's hard to see it when you're knee deep in the process right then. Except that it's gonna take some time. Learn new skills to be able to craft the type of life that we want. We can't claim back time. You know, I preach about that time is one of your most valuable resources, and it is. We can't get it back, but we can at least make the most of what we have ahead. We can make the most of the time that we have ahead. Stop comparing yourselves to other people. Stop comparing your life to the lives of others around you, the things that they have that you don't have, the things that they have that you want. Don't let your mind be controlled by the desires that you have. Don't let your mind be controlled by these objects. You know, at the end of the day, you know, really the only thing that you have is yourself. So I think more important is to build a solid mental state, build a solid, you know, mindset, a mind of clarity, a mind of, you know, acknowledging that the most important things are the things that are within you. Everything else manifests itself outside of you. Build that first. Acknowledge the more meaningful things in life. Be grateful of the fact right now that you're alive. And it doesn't mean to downplay your struggles, but it just means that absolutely things can be worse. Things can be worse. So build that. Start from that foundation. Acknowledge that things, you know, are not as bad as they seem. You know, you're not worse off than you may have thought you are. That today is a day that you can start. Today is a day that you can, you know, start and begin to make the change that you want in life. Today is the day that you can start to craft that life that you do want. You know, you're not a failure. You're just getting started. You haven't even started yet. A lot of people can completely turn their lives around in an instant. It just takes them, you know, some work on their part. It takes work on their part, a little bit of luck, being in the right place, perhaps at the right time, and you never know. Your life could drastically change in an instant. I think ultimately you'll reach the point that you want to be in life. Just don't give up. Keep your mindset hopeful. Never become hopeless, and keep pushing forward. So I'll catch up with you guys next time.